there's a lot of weight of expectation on a new Solstice album, simply because it's been so long since the last album, and because New Dark Age has kind of become such an important album to a lot of people.
I'd rather release one song that's fucking quality in a year, or every 3 years release fucking 4 or 5 really, really, really good fucking quality songs, and progress and always look forward. That's why there's no point of the easiest thing in the world to go out and write Lamentations Part 2, or fucking throw hundreds of riffs in and say, oh, here we go, New Dark Age Part 2 again. You know, but it's not. It's a different band and it's different people. And I kind of think with Paul and Isaac and Andy and now we found a sound that we can sort of like work on and keep trying and keep making different and interesting songs that suit us. You get to a point where to rely on someone to play in a band with them, we generally go for people who we've known for a long time and we know got a good work ethic, people who've got the right temperament, who can have a laugh but also can get on with it. As I say, you know, I've known Isaac for 27 years, I've known Rick for over 30 years, I've known Andy for over 20 years. I only met Paul yesterday for the first time, strangely enough. That were in a woods when he suddenly appeared at my car window with an appendage hanging out. You've got to have right members, you've got to gel, but there's got to be a bit of give and take, I think. To be honest, I don't think I'm the easiest person to work with. As Isaac will testify, I annoy him sometimes, and I know I do, but he knows I don't mean it. And I annoy Paul, I annoy Andy, I probably annoy Rick, but there you fucking go. That's part and parcel of being in a band. You know, people annoy me sometimes, but you just get on with it and you have a laugh and you look back on it a couple of days later and think, God, what a buffoon I've been. And then you think it's part of it. Getting older, you're a little bit more relaxed in that sense.
When I first started playing with the band, and maybe Rich's reputation was unfairly preceding him, but I was kind of expecting a kind of like a dictatorship in a way. So I was very surprised that like I didn't have vocal melodies written for me, I didn't have lyrics presented to me.
You were encouraged to bring something to the table. I thought Paul's capable of some amazing feeling in his voice, and he's also, despite what he might say about himself, he's also a very creative person. And that's like taking a massive weight off my shoulders if someone's going to come in and be creative as well. We'll never say. We kind of felt that we needed someone like Paul to complement what we were trying to do guitar-wise. The sound had certainly evolved from 1994, and it began to evolve in 96. And when you follow the musical progression onwards, I kind of think that New Dark Age were a case of just throw as many riffs into the song as possible and see what happens and hope for the best. It's kind of like throwing shit at a wall and seeing how much of it sticks. I mean, it's 20 years since New Dark Age, of course it's not going to stay the same, and in that time you digest a lot and new music, you open your mind to different influences. There's a lot of things that have gone into the sound. They're not apparent. At least I don't think they're apparent to anybody. I mean, someone described us recently as having some epic metal with some sort of rough punk leanings, but I'm not sure what rough punk is. So that made me chortle.
Too many bands these days are too happy to be defined by their legacies. People get too comfortable with the fact that they're in this band or that band, you know, and it kind of like, it's basically ego, you know. People are defined by what their ego tells them, but the focus is so heavily on the past these days, so it stifles creativity and it kills creativity, and it's led to a vacuum we have nowadays where, you know, you either have bands living off their past or newer bands trying to create, like, you know, a quiche version of old sounds and update it for the modern world, and it spells the death of music in some senses, because, as I said, there's no focus on creativity. So many aspects of music these days are so obviously based just around ego gratification that it makes me sick. This is how it was.
Try and look forward to the future, and you've always got to constantly be creative instead of reliving on past glories. But I know we're kind of like on the right track when we play, and we lock in, and the gigs are good, and when people are singing the new songs just as loud as the few old ones we do, then you know you're doing something fucking right, and you're creating something equal for me.
Your satisfaction has to come from the fact that, you know, that you're just basically playing in a heavy metal band, playing the occasional gig in Europe, having the occasional recording, and like if you're not expecting to kind of like, you know, for the earth to move underneath your feet, as you maybe did when you were in a band when you were a kid, you know, it's
everything.
Yeah. It's not to say that you settle for less at all. It's just the fact that you're more realistic and realise that, like, for me, for me, it's not putting out an album and having people, you know, like collecting good reviews or bad reviews or whatever. I don't give a fuck about that. It's the fact that, like, you know, it's a bit of a slog, and, you know, it's like you get out of it what you put into it. At the end, if you can actually manage to put a song together and construct a song that sounds good to you, and, you know, you think to yourself, fuck it, you know, it's like, it was worth, you know, 15 Ryanair flights getting the fuck over here and
yeah,
sleeping on Rich's couch, you know.
On a really, really good day, and when everybody's happy and it just gels, you know, and like all bands, we have off days. When it gels and we're playing right and everybody's in a good mood, it's the best place in the world to be.
The meeting of these minds has led to what I'd describe as British steel meets Irish charm.
Irish charm meets British steel, or Fortress England meets Fortress Teller. So, yeah, something like that, yeah.